So my software is open, okay, and then I just sent the Excel file here. Trying to find- So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy it, paste in Notepad, and Notepad. And then I'll save as sofa, sofa to close it. Okay. So then minimize this. Open sofa. In sofa you have different types of windows, two different types of windows, the plot document and the worksheet. So we're going to open the worksheet first so that we can import our data here. So we have our S column, we have our Y column, we have our C column and D column. So the A, B, C, and D. So this one has been assigned X, this one is assigned Y, this one is assigned Z. This one is C for a when you're working with a block model. Alright, so now what we are going to do is open the data that we have. Click on open data, go to where you saved it. That is tutorial data, that's where we saved it, and we import. Now we are importing the notepad, okay? The software tutorial notepad, where is it? I can continue. The test file. Open. So it's going to open this window, the data option window, and we don't want to start importing at row 1 because row 1 here is the title, don't set that to the elevation. So let's choose row 2. Okay, that's where our data should start importing. So leave everything the way they are and click OK. So this is imported. Alright. So these are my longitudes and latitudes, and then I have my elevation data. Okay, I have my elevation data here. So this is it's opened a new worksheet. Alright, so before I continue working on this data, I want to explain some of the tools here. You have a new open worksheet like this, and several other options here. And in home, you have copy and paste, video, do, to fit into window. All these, some of them you can get to know their uses as we go on. Okay, so this is the content window, while this is the properties window. So some of the settings that we'll be doing is here, and the contents of whatever we're working on will be here. So this is your workspace. Alright, so next I'm going to do to this data now is to grid it. Okay, so go to grid data. So right. So we can choose to use inverse distancing. What we normally use is minimum curvature, gridding. You can use. I'll show the differences between these. Okay, and there are different ways this can be inversed. Okay, inverse, and each one you click, it will show you the explanation. So if you want to understand the physics behind it, inverse distance is a very fast interpolation method but has a tendency to generate blue eyes pattern around the data point. So you see, this one has its advantage. This method does not extrapolate z values beyond the range of data. So let's look at grading. Grading is one of the more flexible methods. It's useful for interpolation with almost any type of data set. With most data sets, grading with the default linear variable is quite effective. Alright? But for large data sets, grading can be slow. Yeah, grading is more effective, but it can be slow most times. So let's use grading. Okay? So and the data we're working on is software tutorial. Choose software tutorial. The data pops up. Okay? We're starting from row 2. And click OK. Alright, so it automatically reads the columns. So if you want to filter any data, you can click here and filter data, but you don't filter any data. And click next. When you click next, it shows your variogram. If you notice now, the system is slower now because of grading. Okay, so you can choose to remove trends, but I don't want to remove any trend. Okay, just click next. I'm going to be using points. I'm going to be using points. Look at the difference between points and block. When you're using point blocks, it's going to each data point it will map out an area around it and use it for trading. If you're using points, it's going to focus on your data points. Alright, so some of these settings are advanced. Let's just focus on the basics. Yes. If you want to limit your Z, so you can leave it at null, but you can choose the data minimum and the data maximum. So the highest elevation is 879, the lowest elevation is 319. So you can choose to let's use linear. So that's that. I'm finished. So it has been, the grid has been created and it's showing where it is saved in storage data software storage grid. Okay. Now next thing we are going to do now is to okay, before I've created my grid, it's from this grid now that I can use to make my map. So let me save this first. So there are several operations that we can run on this data under the worksheet data. Okay, you can format your cell, maybe increase your cell size. Say you want to increase the width to 10. You can increase it from here. You can increase the cell height. Don't need all those ones. Transform. You can use this transform to create an operation, right? And maybe you want to create an operation for and probably we want to distance maybe depths and not elevations. And I will say column D. Alright? And I will say column D. Undo. Undo. Control Z is undo. Go back to transform. Is transform with column variables. That's the variables you have in the column. Row variables. The variables you just have along the row. You just want to change something along the row. So we're dealing with column variables so that we can calculate all through. Okay. And we want to say that column D. Okay. We want to make column D. Sorry, let me undo. So my keyboard is 40. Okay. Okay, so under transform, you can choose to create any equation, maybe to want to create something from these variables. Make sure that the transform is under column variables. Probably this data here is not elevation. If you plot it, it's going to plot as elevation. Maybe this data you have here is probably depth. Okay, maybe this data is depth. So and we want to make it want to change from elevation to depth. Okay, you can just add minus to it. So how do you add that minus? Just add D. Okay, D is equals to minus of C. Okay, all right, from first row to the last row. Okay, empty cells, blank result, does it, then click OK. So it will, give you this function as depth. Okay, so whatever you want to do, whatever operations, just like within Excel, you can use this function, this thing, key to form them. Okay, statistics, you have to analyze something, right? There are several operations we can deal with. I don't want to dive into all those. So transpose is to change columns into cells or cells into columns and all that. Now, if your row, your column has no assigned SYZ, it has no assigned SYZ, you can assign it here, assign column. Okay, so I want to assign that here will be my easting and here will be my northing. So it can be assigned. Okay, using this you can change to another column. Maybe we change this into longitudes and latitudes and then we want to reassign. Okay, and that's it. And then that's it. Open our plots. plot window. In this plot window, you can go to home and stuff here, okay? So what we are going to do now uh, is to go over to base map. Base map. If you have a go to contour, look at that grid we created, open it. Alright, so this is what the contour looks like. Okay. Let's add some. Okay, it is a contour. Alright. Get the contour to pan it around in case you need a grid, so that's alright. So these are contour. If I can repeat the things I did, I think I went to layout, okay, and I was showing you how to give this a good layout. Remember, it was in portraits before, okay? And I said that here you can change it to landscape. Here you can change the margin. This is the margin. This front line inside. You can change the margin. You can make it wide. You can make it narrow. Okay. I normally use narrow and normal. So let me leave it as normal. Okay. The size, you can change the size to letter A4 or custom. You can change to any size you want here. Let's say you want a 20 inch canvas. Okay, when you click OK, it will increase it. So depending on the kind of work you want to do. Alright, so let's leave it as A4. Okay, header and footer. You want to put something at the maybe the name of the person that did the map, the year that you did the map, the copyright issue, maybe you want to put the reference of who the person that made the map. You can say Motorola 2025. Okay. So something like this. You say okay, basicity, okay. You can choose to put it like that. Okay, so that's a feature and this. So that's basically the thing that I wanted to get in this stuff. So now go back to home and go back to home. I wanted to click on contour. Open the grid we saved. Open it plus your contour. So plus your contour and just push it to the side. Okay, so here you can double up the map, you can double it on. You can change the axis. Okay. So whichever one you highlight, the properties is shown here so that you can edit the properties. Alright, so if I want to start editing properties, I can do that inside here. So I want to edit the properties of this map now. Alright. I'm going to just increase it a bit. Let's start with general. General, this is a grid file name where we got the grid from. Is a 2D grid, okay, SYZ. So we're dealing with a 2 grid map surface. Okay, how smooth do you want it? High smoothing, medium smoothing. So let's leave it at now so that you still see the effect of what we just did. And okay, field properties. Okay, click on field properties. For no data regions, like where we don't have any data, what do you want to fill in there? Let's click that one. So let's go to levels. Okay, the method for the leveling we are going to use simple, and our minimum contour for the height, is 320, and the maximum height according to the data is 880. But you can change it yourself. But this is what the data came with. We can change the content interval to 10. Remember, the more interval you use, the more contours you have. So you see the contours increased. So if we say 50, the contours will reduce. Okay, the interval increase. So this is 20. Let's put it back at 20. So major contour lines. Which ones do you want to be? What's the interval for your major contour lines? Let's make the interval. Okay, you see the minimum contour is 320 and the maximum is 8. So let's put it at 100 and see what it will look like. See, there's no. I think this interval is not linear to this, so this is 10. Okay, 10 intervals. Let's see 20. Let's see 2. Okay, so let's leave it as 5. So we need a color scale, calculator. So when we put color, now, we're going to have okay. Remember that we see here, which is state 1. So when when I clicked on this color scale, it shows me it's a letter color scale and show the quantities of color scale. So let's click back to where we are. So we've said let's have a color scale. Click it again, it shows fill contours. When I click it, it will fill in the contour with the few colors. So you can click here and choose terrain because these are elevation stuff. Okay, normally elevations blue is normally used for the low elevation and every other color is normally used for the high elevation. So click on these 3 buttons and reverse it. Reverse, apply. It reverses it. So these points are low, these points are high. Okay, so you can change how the data is plotted. You can see evenly distribute. You can see equalize. Okay, you can choose none. Anyone that gives you a good look. Always use linear. Okay, always use linear. And no, that's for now. Okay, use data limits. You're going to use our data limits. So apply and okay. That I was explaining. Aside from explaining the contours, okay. We normally use the rainbows for geophysical stuffs, parameters like resivity variations, and if there are variations in resivities, understand. And then normally use when you have to do temperature, you can use the scale. Things that have to do temperature. Normally use things like this, and some people will choose to use something else. Okay, and this for construction, and on. Maybe weeks long, moderate, all that. So and under contours, you can toggle on your contours and toggle them off. Okay, I don't know why you see your label is not showing. The label is showing here. Okay, if yours is not showing, maybe go to fonts. Okay, go to fonts, increase the size. See okay, you can change the color of your font too. You can change. See, my fonts are now red. They're now red. You can change them to black. Okay, you can increase the font here. If it's too big, it will disappear. So don't make it too big. So these are your fonts. And on the major contours, you can under the major contours, you can change the line settings. Make it thick. You can make it normal. Okay. That's it. What do I need to tell you about this? Intervals, the contour intervals. I think I've explained that already. You can make a major contours soon. You can represent these are major contours, these are the minor contours. Okay, so whichever one that gives you the look you desire, use that. So now, and next thing we're going to do is we're going to layer second. make this transparent and I go to coordinate system. In coordinate system, what we do here is to give it a coordinate reference map. Okay, so you can see that our map has no reference geophysical system, no reference coordinate system. So what we do is we predefine that what we'll be using. Okay, the predefined coordinate system that our data came with. Those notices are not you see there. Actual WGS 84. Okay, you select. Make sure you select notice and match to the geographic notice under it. For this data, maybe another data you're going to work on might come with a different georeferencing system. You click OK. So when we do it, it now assigns a georeferencing. It assigns a coordinate system to it. Okay. So coordinate systems can also be given to the entire map itself. When I click on here, so that any map I input will also be at the coordinate system. So I go to when I click it, Junction Consult, and let's give it UTM. Let's give it UTM. Go to projected systems, UTM 84. UTM 32 knots. That's what the region I think this thing was taken from. I think it was 32. I forgot where I took it. Okay, 32. So it gives a reference system to it. If you want to use lots of magic, you can use them. So just want to use a different coordinate system. Let's take back our selection. Remember, because I started the new stuff, so I want to show you how we. I want to take this back to. Okay, same landscape. Okay, same landscape. Let's look at the landscape. That's it. Remember that when you highlight the map, the functions of the map, that's the properties of the map shows up here. Okay. So under the map we have view, we have perspective view. Let's do it in orthogonal view. Okay. We have rotation, the map can be rotated. Okay. You don't want to take it back to 0. The map can be tilted. You don't want to tilt it, you leave it at 90. Your field of view can change. You don't want that to 45. You can click on the number and type 45. Okay, we can look at it in 3D. And the 3D stuff comes up. These are your mappings in 3D. There are other ways to view 3D. Okay? You can decide to close your 3D. If you want to close it, look at this. You can close or minimize. Let's close it. Okay. Where you can able to see it here. Okay. You can set to reduce it. Alright, so you can set a image from entirely. Okay. Invisible. So that's coordinate. I'm showing you how to set coordinate system for the map, for the entire map itself. So that's it for this. Then let's just all right. What next? I'll go to the what is really to do? Okay. When you highlight the color scale, you can increase the width of the color scale, can reduce the color scale, can increase the height of the color scale, reduce it here. You can do several other settings for the color scale. You can add the title for the color scale. Elevation. Elevation. Okay. You can choose, you see it's showing here now. You can choose put it on top, button at the top of bottom. Okay. Remember that color scheme is highlighted. Here, you highlight it here or just click on the object. So you see, this is where you put the title for the color scale. The position and the offset is just whether I want it to be like this, whether I want it to be like this, whether I want it to be closer, whether I want it to come up like a 2 bits. Okay, I'm going to just tilt it up to where I want it to be. Font is to do with the different fonts, okay? And font size and all that. So now we're done. Let's go back to our contour. Okay. We want to add objects to it, just like a right click on the map. We want to add to the map. And right click on the map. We can add stuff to the map. We can add a scale bar. And the scale bar. Now the scale bar is selected. Function for scale bar is up, so you can adjust the scale bar here. You can get the different types of scale bars. You can choose any type you want. Double button it. With this. So you can see your scale bar below. And change the layer settings so that the margin can be smaller. I just reduce the margin so I can shift this marker. And then so I can see the scale properly. Okay. So and you can increase the subdivisions, subdivision. You can increase the number of subdivision. Okay, you can increase the height. You can give it a title scale. Alright, and it's appears here. You see, it's written here, so you can increase it. You can increase it, also bring it closer, or take it further away. Bring it closer. Let's increase the font of the scale. So the scale is increasing. So we've added our scale bar. Let me take this in back to topography, because this is topographic data terrain. Alright, so next thing I want us to do here is to add, let's see what else we can add. Let's go ahead here. If you have view data, you can include view data. You don't have this. Not arrow. Thing is that I don't know why they didn't add not arrow here. And I need to add not arrow. The funny thing is that software didn't provide not arrow. Maybe we can add a not arrow. So what I normally do in software is to, if I don't want to export it to another software where I can do a better mode, I can decide to insert an object that looks like a not arrow. Okay, I can decide to use this and make a not arrow. Okay. I can give it a color. Now that we're highlighting these properties are used, so you can change the fill black, and then you can choose a pattern. This is black. We're not going to choose any pattern. And use solid color. So let me make it smaller. Right, so that's enough arrow. If you want to add a title to your map, you click on text, draw a title box, and type elevation map. Okay, you can change the font here. This is super black. Okay, it's too small. It's too small. Double click on it. That's supposed to be It's very big stuff. You understand? So let's make it big, let's make it bold, and let's click OK. Okay. And then let's almost connect to it. Remember double clicking. Okay. Um, does that. I wanted to check if we can give it a. If you can put it inside a box. Okay, now that you've highlighted it, the functions are on, so we can put it inside a box. I think there should be a place to put a box around it. Size. You can increase the size from here. There's no place to put box. You can try to add the box yourself. It's not triangle, but rectangle. Alright. You can choose to do it starting box. So that's it. What more elements do you want out? Select to what other elements are we missing here? Okay, that's for this.